Okay. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check on YouTube side that I'm live. I think we're good. Yeah. We're good. We're good. And audio's okay. Yep. Perfect. Hello. So I'm just gonna get right into this basically. Um I'm gonna first of all talk through game week 4 because I didn't get the chance to do a video like reviewing that. So I'm kind of just gonna do a quick recap on that because obviously we had the international break. So kind of just want to recap how that went and then sort of how that made my decisions for me for the next game week. Um so yeah, basically first of all then so I went with Onana in goal when he was playing Arsenal away. I knew that he wasn't going to keep a clean sheet, but basically prior to that game week when I was picking my teams, it was pretty much I had to pick between Onana in goal away to Arsenal or Turner in goal away to Chelsea. Did not expect Forest to keep a clean sheet at Stamford Bridge. So, I mean, that one went against me, but it wasn't a bad. It was a shit choice either way. Either way, I had to pick between two keepers that had tough away fixtures. So Onana got me nothing. He does have a tough game coming up against Brighton at home next as well, and I'm pretty sure I'm still going to stick with him anyway, just because I don't know. Like I don't expect him to keep a clean sheet, but yeah, Onana's kind of a tough one right now because and I didn't expect United to be this poor defensively the start of the season anyway. So I'm kind of just dealing with it now. And then if I ever end up having the luxury of being able to transfer a goalkeeper out, then I'll think about it. But for now, he's sort of just there chilling. Um, Another one that I was unfortunate with was Matty Cash. So Matty Cash just came off like a 18-point game week or something the game week prior, and then he was playing Liverpool at Anfield. I didn't expect anything crazy from him anyway. Like it's not like I expected him to go to Anfield and keep a clean sheet or anything. But he was so unfortunate because basically I obviously have Salah in my team as well. Salah set Nunez up for like the easiest tap in of his life, and then rather than Nunez just slotting it in and getting me a Salah assist, Nunez hits the post, it bounces off the post, hits off Cash, and then goes in. So Cash ends up getting an own goal for that. And then obviously you can see that like 3 as well. So -1 from Cash. Not ideal, but I mean, yeah, it was just unfortunate. He didn't play badly. It just bounced off him when Nunez hit the post. So moving on from Cash because that was a bit depressing. So I have Udogi again in my team. He had another good game. He had an assist against why is it not showing up here? Okay, yeah, he had an assist against Burnley. Spurs absolutely battered Burnley. Obviously, Son scored a hat trick in that game, and Son is now the highest transferred in player for this game week, which I can understand because Spurs have Sheffield, but I just like after Sheffield they've got I don't know in which order, but they've got let me just double check here. Actually, I'll put it up. So they've got Arsenal after Sheffield and then Liverpool. After that, you're vibing with Spurs assets, so I can kind of understand people bringing like the likes of Son in now and Madison in now because you get this good game week out of him. You're gonna have to cope with if you've got someone to rotate out maybe for him, like for these Arsenal Liverpool games, then fair enough. But then yeah, you've got Luton, Fulham, Palace right after that. So yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not bringing any more Spurs guys in at the moment because of the Arsenal Liverpool game. Game week 8 and forward, I might look at possibly bringing Spurs players in, like more Spurs players in if I have the funds, obviously. But yeah, so Udogi got an assist against Burnley, solid performance. No clean sheet, sadly. Estepinian, that was an annoying one because he would have literally had a clean sheet and then they decided, you know what, we're going to concede in the fucking last minute of the game. So no clean sheet for Estepinian. So that kind of sucks, but that's just FPL for you sometimes. Everything's going swell, and then you know what? Nah, 91st minute, we're just going to give away a goal. No bother. The stupid decision I made was I'm gonna read chat after I'm done with like the review, by the way, but like of game week 4. But I appreciate you guys being here. So Kabore, I kind of just had to pick him because, like, as you can see by the options that I had last week, it was either Cabore or João Pedro, because João Pedro and Garnacho were both going to be starting on the bench. João Pedro actually did end up starting the game, surprisingly, but he still done nothing anyway, so it didn't really matter in the end. But yeah, so I was kind of stuck with a choice between these two, because I'm still sort of like making a change every week to get the team where I want it to be. Um, yeah, moving on to the midfield then. So Saka was actually pocketed by Dallo in the United Arsenal game. People won't want to admit that, because obviously Dallo got memed at the end of the game, with like conceding a goal that didn't really matter in the end anyway. But yeah, basically Saka ended up getting an assist in the game, but it was from a corner. So he did get lucky to get the assist, but overall it was a pretty poor performance from Saka, to be honest. He just got pocketed by Dallo. He couldn't get past him. And Dallo was obviously playing left back. He never plays left back. He was completely out of position. So I did expect more from Saka in that game. And then since obviously we're talking about that United Arsenal game, I'll move on to Rashford, because Rashford got his goal. I think Rashford was like the third most transferred out player coming into game week 4, which surprised me, because in those bigger games, like against Arsenal, against City, all those kind of games, Rashford's usually like a really good, he's usually a really good option to have, because he gets a lot more chances on the transition and running in behind and stuff. So, yeah, Rashford did get a goal against Arsenal, which was pretty happy with. He does obviously have a difficult fixture coming up next against Brighton, but they're at home, so I do expect United to, like, I don't know. Honestly, it's a bit of an unpredictable game. I do think United will win, but they're definitely not going to keep a clean sheet. But yeah, I think like there's a few goals in that game for both teams, to be honest. So I do think Marcus will probably score against Brighton, and then he does have like a decent run of fixtures coming up after that. He's got Burnley, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield. Obviously, he's got that City game in there, but games like that again, like suit Rashford, because he just gets so much chances running in behind. And then after that, Fulham, Luton, Everton. So like literally for the next like 10 or like is that about 10 game weeks, Rashford's got favorable like fixtures I like. Then obviously that Newcastle away one is kind of tough, but yeah, I think all these fixtures, like Marcus Rashford's staying on my team for the long term. I'm not getting rid of him anytime soon. And then yeah, so moving on to Salah then. So Salah had a pretty solid performance against Villa. Uh, he scored a goal, but he was robbed, like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Cash and his own goal. He was robbed of like 2 or 3 assists easily, just because Nunez, like people panic transferred Nunez in as well, because after that performance at Newcastle the week prior, everyone was like, "Oh, he's finally finishing his chances and stuff. He's going to start." And I think I'm pretty sure he did start. Right, he started, but he just like he was back to being his donkey self, where he was missing chance. Like obviously it worked out in the end because they won, but like he was, I don't know, man. Nunez is just frustrating. Like the one that hit the post and then hit off Cash, like that's one he should just be burying, and then Salah gets an assist for it. So either way, like Salah still returns, and I'm pretty sure he's on like some crazy streak right now. I don't know the exact numbers, but I read about it on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. But he's on some sort of streak of like returning like a goal or an assist for like so many like straight game weeks. So that's exactly why I wanted Salah in my team to start off the season, just because he's one, even though he is 12.5 million, he's just like, for that 12.5 million you're going to get returns every week near enough. And he's got a good run of fixtures coming up as well here. So he's got Wolves, West Ham, does have a difficult fixture against Spurs and Brighton between that, but then they've got Everton, Forest, Luton. So again, Salah's going to be in my team for the long term as well, along with Rashford. I'm pretty happy with like my core team at the moment. So, but yeah, Salah again robbed of a couple of returns against Villa because of Nunez's finishing, but overall good game week for him. And then another player that had a good game week but potentially could have had more returns is Mbumo. I don't know if I always get confused when I pronounce his name. I don't know if it's Mbumo or Mbuemo. I'm pretty sure it's like Mbumo. I don't know. Mbumo is French, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm ranting. Yeah, so he scored in this game, and then he obviously got a bonus point as well. But I swear to God, he missed an absolute sitter, like an absolute sitter. Like, oh, it was near enough an open goal from what I remember. So he definitely should have had 2 or 3 goals. And in that game, but he ended up with a 1 anyway, which was like a last minute winner, so it was kind of lucky, but at the same time he was such a threat that whole game. Yeah, he's another one that's probably going to be a mainstay in my team for the next while. He's so funny enough, coming into game week 4, I had to pick between him and Sterling, and I nearly went for Sterling simply just for the fact that Sterling had a really good game week the week prior. He had like a 19-point haul or something against Luton. But then in my preview for game week 4, I'd mentioned like, but it was against Luton. So like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of game weeks this season where like a player will haul against Luton, and then people are just going to like scrambling to get them in. Oh, he scored a hat trick against Luton. Get him in the team. Get him in the team. Like, I don't know, man. I think Luton definitely are going to. Everyone joked before the season saying Luton are probably going to break Derby's record for like the least points while getting relegated, and like I think they probably will. To be honest, I generally can't see where they're going to get a win at the moment. I think they've got goals in their team and stuff, but I just can't see them winning. Their defense is so bad. But yeah, anyway, and Boomo then, so he has like hit and miss fixtures for the next while. So like he's got Newcastle away next game week, then he has Everton and Forest back to back, but then he has United, then he has Burnley, then he has Chelsea, then he has, you know what I mean? So it's like maybe you can think about moving him out sort of like game week 10, because he does have Chelsea, West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal like all in a row, which is tough. West Ham are tough this season as well, especially like defensively. They're really hard to break down. But yeah, for now he's sitting in my team anyway. And then obviously I had Haaland like everybody else, and like I'm pretty sure 99% of people had him captained as well. So his 40 points literally did not make a difference anyway. I ended up in 75 final points, but still had red arrows. Like it's crazy how much people's like have Haaland, and like he should be more expensive. He's 14 million. I think he should be like honestly like 16 million, because then that forces people to actually think, do I want Haaland in my team if he's 16 million? Because maybe like I can use that money better elsewhere. But when he's 14 million, like everyone's okay, I'll have him and then captain him. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a tough one, but yeah, another hat trick for Haaland, and then obviously I'm pretty sure it was a hat trick, right? Yeah, hat trick. So he had a hat trick, and then obviously Son and Ferguson both scored hat tricks in the same game week as well, which is crazy. And then Jackson, he's an annoying one to talk about. Lost 1-0 against Forest, but he missed an absolute sitter. Like as you can see, like every single game week he has an XG of 0.53, 0.79, 0.71, 0. Like this was his highest XG yet. He just missed an absolute sitter. So I don't know how he missed it, but he missed it. Blank from him. But again, he's one that actually he's been transferred out a lot. Like I'm pretty sure he's the third. I'll actually pull it up now, so well, just give me a second, guys, because I was looking at that earlier. Yeah, so he's actually the most transferred out player this game week, which is madness, because obviously people were disappointed that he blanked that game week and missed that chance and everything. But look at his fixtures, man. He's got Bournemouth next, and he does have a tough one against Villa, but then he's got Fulham, who have the highest expected goals conceded in the league. So he's going to have loads of chances against them. And then he's got Burnley after that. A game week 9 forward, 100% get rid of him, because he's got Arsenal, Brentford, Spurs, City, Newcastle, Brighton, United. Like after game week 9, after game week 8, get rid of all your Chelsea assets, because they're useless to have at that stage. But for the next 4 game weeks, I'm still going to keep Jackson, because he's going to keep getting those chances and he will take them eventually. But in that last game, he just didn't take it. That's all it was. So I'm going to keep him for now. I have faith in him for now. Let me just answer a couple of questions in the chat then, and then I'll move on to game week 5 and like my game week 5 confirmed team transfers I've made and stuff. Bro's really trying to gaslight me with these titles for real. Oh yeah. The not captain and Haaland thing. I'm gonna go over that. When I show my game week 5 team. I'm gonna go over like captain choices and why I'm considering not captain and Haaland, which is obviously sounds insane, but that's also a way you can maybe get an edge over other players. Because, like I said earlier, everybody has him captained. So if everybody captains him and he doesn't do as well, and you captain someone else who does better, then you've got the advantage there. They can put him at 20 million, and I'll still buy him. That's the thing, though. But if he was at like 20 million, then I would actually be like, okay, well, I can actually reinvest that money elsewhere in my team better. You know what I mean? But yeah, 14 million is too cheap for him. Bro, who would you pick for one game week between Pereira versus Luton or Diaby versus Palace, both at home? I would pick Pereira, personally, man. I don't know if you're still here, by the way, and I do apologize for not responding to that message right away, but I would pick Pereira, personally. That actually brings me into my game week 5 team then, because one of the players I was 100% considering, like I actually wanted to bring him in, I was like 99% bringing him in, was Pereira. Because I think Pereira is actually a really underrated pick because he takes penalties, he takes corners, he takes free kicks, and he's Fulham's also most creative player. So I think he's actually a good choice, not only just for this Luton game, but for the next. I think for the next 4 or 5 game weeks, he's actually a really good choice, man. Hold on, I was actually looking at his fixtures earlier, so let me just double check here. Let me just like. Let's look quickly. Sorry, just filtering this. Okay. Yeah, so he has Luton. He has Luton at home. Then he does have Palace away, which they obviously rate as like a 2 on the fixture list, but that's a pretty difficult fixture to be honest. But Chelsea at home, and to be fair, he scored against Arsenal as well, so he does have the possibility of delivering in fixtures like that. Chelsea aren't sort of 100% convincing right now defensively, and then he has Sheffield United at home, so you could honestly get away with keeping Pereira for like the next 4 game weeks, I'd say. But yeah, Pereira against Luton, I really wanted to bring him in, man. I really, really wanted to bring him in. But you know the mistake I made was I didn't make my transfers early enough. So what I was basically gonna do was I was gonna take Garnacho out, right? And then put Pereira in, and then that left me with 5.5 million. And I was gonna take Jackson out, or sorry, not Jackson, João Pedro from Brighton, because he was 5.5 million, and do a straight swap for Morris. But Pedro's price dropped to 5.4 million, and so I didn't have enough money to make the transfer. So that brings me to my game week 5 team then. So just because I was talking about Morris there, I will start with him. So that's my transfer for this week. I only had one transfer to use, and I took out João Pedro and brought in Morris. Now I know obviously that might look stupid because he's a Luton player, but if you look at his fixtures, so he's got Fulham away, and I do think Fulham will win that game, and I think you're going to see an absolute masterclass from Andres Pereira. I really, really do. He could honestly score he could be involved in 2 or 3 goals, I reckon. Fulham are also going to have Paulinho back, and that's so important for their midfield, because him being in the team gives Pereira more license to push forward, and then Paulinho can just sit back and clean up, basically. I think he had the most tackles in the league last season, so yeah, he cleans everything up, and then Pereira can sort of push forward. The only thing that might affect Pereira is last season he had a good amount of assists. I can't remember how much off the top of my head, but most of the assists he was getting were to Mitrovic, and obviously they don't have Mitrovic anymore. They've got Jimenez up front, who did score a couple of goals on the international break for Mexico, but like I don't see that form translating to the Premier League. I would like to see Jimenez score some goals, because I do feel sorry for him, because he's not been great since the head injury a few years ago. He hasn't been the same player since. But yeah, basically, I think Andreas will haul against Luton, so I don't expect Luton to win this game because their defense is so bad. But Morris himself has actually, so he's been involved in goals in a couple of games. So he got an assist against Brighton, and he got an assist against West Ham as well. He hasn't scored. Or sorry, did he score? He did. Sorry, my bad. He got a goal against Brighton and an assist against West Ham. And the goal against Brighton was obviously a penalty. So Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like with his fixtures, he's got Fulham away, which, like I mentioned earlier, Fulham have the highest XG expected goals conceded in the league. So I do expect Fulham to leak goals even against Luton. Obviously, if Luton manage to get a penalty or whatever, Morris will take it. And then after that, they've got Wolves, which again, that's at home. Wolves again, I can't see where Luton get a win here, but I think there's goals in the games, and if there's going to be goals, Morris will be involved with them, either an assist or a goal. And then they've got a double game week. Game week 7, they've got a double game week, Everton and Burnley. And then they've got Spurs at home, which is difficult, and then Forest away. But by that time, I'll have another player in my team transferred in who I can actually like rotate in and out for him. But for the next 4 game weeks, I was like, I'm bringing in Morris because I'm happy with my core team at the moment. Like I'm happy with like obviously the keeper situation. I spoke about that earlier. So I've got Onana in against Brighton. I could like as you can see, I've got Turner on the bench and he's got Burnley at home, and that's probably a better fixture. So I possibly could start Turner, but I I don't know, man. I don't. Burnley aren't that bad going forward. It's defensively. Defensively, that's their issue at the moment. Defensively, because they're leaving themselves. They're trying to play like Man City. Companies trying to get them playing like Man City, but they don't have the players that Man City have. And they're leaving themselves wide open on near enough every counter attack. So yeah, I don't know. It's I think Burnley will score against Forest. I don't see Turner keeping a clean sheet, but yeah, uh, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because Onana's. You know what it is? I'm thinking about it now. I am gonna put Turner in. Um, I don't. I honestly don't think Turner will keep a clean sheet, but there's a better chance of him keeping a clean sheet than Onana keeping a clean sheet, which is crazy to say because it's United. United are playing at home, but it's against Brighton, and I just think that game's going to be kind of like goals galore a little bit. Saying that though, I guarantee you that I put Onana on my bench and then he gets like a load of save points or something. Like he has an absolute masterclass. I bet you that's what happens. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with Turner on goal because he's got Burnley at home, so he probably does have a better chance than keeping a clean sheet. Um, Better chance of keeping a clean sheet than Onana. Cash has got Crystal Palace at home, so he's 100% staying in the team. That's a good fixture for him. And like we've talked about Cash before, he's playing as like near enough a right winger at times. So he's a goal threat. So obviously last game didn't really provide much goal threat, but like against Newcastle, he had a 0.74 xG. Against Burnley, he had a 1.35, which is crazy. So I like Matty Cash. He's super attacking and he's got a good fixture against Palace at home, so I'm gonna keep him. Um, One thing I forgot to mention as well when I was talking about my game week 4 team was one of the transfers I was gonna make. I was gonna take a points hit and take João Pedro out and bring Edward in for Palace, and I ended up not making that change. And then of course Edward went and scored a brace. He's been really good this season, so he's a good budget option. Obviously, Morris, I ended up bringing Morris in for 5.5 million. But if you're looking for budget strikers, Edward at Palace is another good option. He's 5.5 million too, and he has like really good XG and stuff this season. But yeah, so moving on from Cash then. So I've also got Udogie. I'm pretty sure I pronounced his name right. Udogie in my team. He's got Sheffield United at home. That one's pretty self-explanatory. I think this is going to be kind of another situation like the Burnley game where Spurs just absolutely dominated. So I'm hoping that he can keep me a clean sheet and then possibly get involved with like a goal and assist or something. Yeah, I have high hopes for him. I've got a Stupinian in my team. I don't expect anything from him defensively. I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet, but he has potential to like I said before. This game definitely has goals in it. And with the Stupinian, at least you have the potential of assist or maybe even a goal or something. So I'm gonna keep him in. Now this is where I'm really weighing up my captain options. So as you can see, I've got Haaland as captain at the moment, just by default almost. But you've got Saka away at Everton, and you've got Salah away at Wolves. Now, if these were home games, if Saka was at home to Everton and Salah was at home to Wolves, then I would 100%, not even a doubt in my mind, be captain in one of them. But the fact that it's an away game makes it a little bit more of a difficult decision, because it's definitely, I don't care what managers say, and I know managers say like, oh, like they're playing on the same pitch, so it doesn't really make a difference if you're away or home. For me, it does, like it always does. But obviously Haaland, who has the captain's armband right now, he's away at West Ham, and I think City will win the game probably, but I don't know. West Ham are really, really good defensively this season, so I think West Ham are probably going to really frustrate City, because the thing that the thing is, like, obviously you've got all these managers in the league right now trying to play like progressive football, which then leaves gaps for like the City players to take advantage of, Haaland especially. But Moyes doesn't give a fuck about any of that, to be honest. He just wants to, he'll just sit back happily without a care in the world. He'll just sit back and defend and then hit you on the counter. So I actually, it would not be out of the realms of possibility for West Ham to win that game. Just by playing counter-attacking football. It would not surprise me if West Ham got a result out of that game. And then that leads me to think that, like, see, this is the thing. Haaland is just so annoying, because even if a fixture looks difficult on paper, he can still just pop up and score two or three. He can just pop up and score two or three whenever he wants. It almost feels like, so you kind of just give him the armband by default. But I'm probably not like, so my captain options, basically, just speaking about captains and stuff. My captain options for this game week are Haaland, Saka, and Salah. I'm probably not, so in order of like what I think is the best captain options, I'd probably put Salah first, Haaland second, Saka third. Um, Obviously Saka has an easier fixture than Haaland. He's got Everton away, but I hope Paz is here to say this, because he always hears loads of negativity about Everton, so I want to give him something positive for once. I don't think Everton have actually played that badly this season. They're just like getting unlucky with results. Like they definitely haven't played bad at all. They've played really good at times, but just haven't took their chances. So yeah, I don't know. And another thing, just, and maybe this isn't relevant at all, but Saka was playing for England the other day against Ukraine, and it was literally like it was Saka versus is it Malenko, whatever way you pronounce it, the Everton left back. Those two were playing literally against each other, and Malenko pocketed him. So I mean, that's international football, so that could go completely differently when Saka's playing for Arsenal. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't fancy Saka away at Everton, because I think Everton are probably going to put in a good performance. Saka probably will get a goal or an assist or something. I just don't think he's worth captaining him. Salah, on the other hand, now Wolves again, like they're kind of similar to Everton. They've played decent at times. They've played pretty good football. They definitely should have got a result at Old Trafford, and I can say that as a United fan. Like they haven't played terrible. Pedro Neto's looked good for them as well. But like, yeah, what Jack just said in chat there, Salah against this Wolves team, I'd fancy him. Wolves are still leaking goals, and I don't know, I can picture Salah being involved in more goals against Wolves than I can Haaland against West Ham. So that really, really does tempt me to captain Salah. But like, again, I've got the armband with Haaland at the moment almost by default, and because I'm unsure, there's potentially Haaland might just keep the armband, just because like the thing is, like, if you captain Haaland and he blanks, it doesn't really matter that much, because near enough everybody else has got him captained. But if you take the armband away from Haaland and then he scores 2 or he scores 3, then you're all of a sudden you're way behind everybody else, like way behind everybody else. And Haaland, even against teams like West Ham, just has the potential to. He always has the potential to score 2, 3 goals. But that Wolves fixture for Salah, man, that is really tempting me. Last 2 seasons it was tough winning or even just drawing against West Ham. Yeah, and you're a City fan, Dabigo, so that's West Ham are always a difficult fixture, and they're going to be a difficult fixture for a lot of teams this season. I think West Ham's recruitment in the summer was fantastic. They got all that Rice money and then replaced them with like 3 midfielders. So, I think I think West Ham are a very, very good team this season, and they're going to play counter-attacking football. But yeah, it literally just exactly what Jack said. It's always such a big risk taking the armband off Haaland. He's a robot. Like, he could literally be playing the hardest team in the world, and he will find a way to score. But on the other hand, just to play devil's advocate to that, if you do take the armband off him and give it to Salah, and Salah outscores Haaland, then you've got a massive advantage on everybody. So, you know what I'm like? You know what I'm like, guys? I love a bit of risk taking. I love a bit of risk taking. Like, I'm happy enough with my core team, and then I'll throw in a couple of like fun players, like Morris, for example. Udogi was one of the fun players I threw in, but obviously he ended up being like he's going to be in most people's teams now because he's had a couple of good game weeks in a row. But yeah, you know what it is? For the sake of risk taking, I'm just going to captain Salah. He's probably going to blank now. He's probably going to blank because I've captained Salah. But like, just for a laugh, you know, just so we can all come back to this channel next week and laugh when Salah blanks and Haaland scores a hat trick and I've captained Salah. We're gonna do it just for the vibes, just for the crack. You know what I mean? Fuck it. With the choice between Haaland and Salah, go for the wild card of Saka. Look, I did consider Saka, but I don't know, man. I feel like Everton are going to probably put in a decent performance. See, the thing is, though, like, now that I've actually give the armband to Salah, like, physically on the game, Gary O'Neill and Wolves, like, Gary O'Neill has got Wolves, like, decently organised. I'm not saying Wolves are going to beat Liverpool or anything like that. Like, I do think Liverpool will win still. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I'm really indecisive about this right now. And I'd rather like show my indecisiveness because I'm not like a know-it-all when it comes to the FPL. I'm not trying to like be out here saying like, yeah, do this, do that. If you captain one, I'll captain the other. I don't like that, Jack, because then if I captain Haaland and then you captain Salah, he's gonna score a hat trick 100%. Oh, I'm not gonna let you live this one. Come on, Nabico. Come on. Fixtures. In terms of fixtures, Salah has the better fixture. And you have, like, the way I'm looking at it, right? It's like, if I've got a 12.5 million player in my team, right? And he's playing Wolves. If I don't captain him now, when am I ever going to captain him? Do you know what I mean? When am I ever going to captain him? He's 12.5 million, like. He's on this streak. I'm trying to convince myself of it almost. He's on this streak at the moment of like returning in every game, like return against Chelsea, return against Bournemouth, return against Newcastle, return against Villa, and he should have had way more in that Villa game. I know, obviously, on this fixture, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I can tell you now for sure, Haaland is 100% going to be captain against Forest and against Wolves. But for this West Ham game, man, like, look at this for, like, I don't know. Like, he blanked against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, and they played similar football to what West Ham are going to play, like counter-attacking, and West Ham are a better counter-attacking team than Newcastle are, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going Salah. I'm going Salah. Fuck it. I'm going Salah. It might be a really, really crazy choice, and I know the risk that I'm taking, but I think the reward for this choice, like, you have to take risks in FPL sometimes. You have to, or else, like, how are you going to get ahead? Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to give the armband to Salah. I'm going to give it to Salah. And then I do expect, just because I haven't touched on them yet, I do expect Rashford to get some returns against Brighton. Like I said, I think this is going to be a goal fest type of game. Bro, like, I'm making some bold choices. On paper, yeah, in a big go. See, that's the thing. It's all good and well having these opinions, looking at the stuff on paper, right? But then when the game actually starts, it never goes like that. It never goes like you expect it to go. But yeah, like the two brave choices I've made at the moment is captain and Salah over Haaland, and then I've also dropped Onana for Turner. But like on paper, those are the decisions that, in my opinion, make more sense. Like Turner against Burnley is a much better fixture than against Brighton, because Brighton can literally beat anybody on their day. It doesn't matter. And then Salah against Wolves is a way better fixture than playing West Ham away. Funny enough, by the way, this is irrelevant to like the video and stuff, but I'm literally going to be across the street from the West Ham stadium when that game's going on. So if Haaland scores a hat trick and I don't have him captained, I'm going to go over and knock his fucking bollocks in. I'm going to tell him off. I'm actually not going to do that, obviously, but yeah, I'll be raging. He's going to be right across the street from me. I'll just be screaming, "You fucking cyborg. Your strats are riskier than Ferraris, and that's why I love them and the ideas you have." Look, yes, look, I'm going to look like an absolute genius if this works. If it doesn't work, I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy enough being an idiot. That's fair enough. But yeah, Salah, I think, is worth the risk. And then again, Turner looks like a better choice for the fixture than Onana. Yes, I'm flying out to London tomorrow, Jack. I'm flying out tomorrow morning, 6:30. My flight is in the morning. I'm going over just for the World Series of Warzone event. For anybody who's watching for the football kind of stuff right now, I also do like gaming stuff as well. So, I'm going to like a gaming event in London. He mentioned Ferrari. Oh no, I'm gonna crash and burn. Not that you've mentioned Ferrari, Jack. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, Rashford. Let me wrap this up here. So Rashford, I do think he'll get returns against Brighton. It'll be a goal fest, I reckon, that game. For both teams. And Mbumo is like, I've kind of just got him in the team because like he always has potential to return, but I don't expect him to in this game because Newcastle away is probably one of the toughest fixtures in the league right now. So I don't expect him to return against Newcastle. Hopefully he does though. And then I do have Morris in the team for Luton. Wouldn't surprise me if he blanked against Fulham. Would not surprise me at all. But I've mainly got him in for his long-term fixtures. I've got him in because he's got Wolves at home next week, and then he has a double game week. He has a double game week with Everton and Burnley, which I don't think Luton will probably win any of those games, to be honest. But I think they'll score goals. And like I said earlier, if they're going to score goals, Carlton Morris is 100% going to be involved in them because he's their main man. If they get a penalty, he takes the penalty. So I was kind of annoyed that I couldn't bring Andres Pereira in this week, though, because I really wanted to have Andres Pereira in my team. I think he's going to have a really, really good game week against Luton. But he was a more short-term option, if we're being honest. So, and you have to play the long-term fixtures. And then the last player I haven't talked about yet for this game week for my confirmed team is Nicholas Jackson. So he's got Bournemouth away. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, he missed an absolute sitter against Forest last game, and then he ended up being the most transferred out player. But I'm not transferring him out because he's still got good fixtures for the next 3-4 weeks. Once these fixtures are done, after game week 8, he's getting absolutely yeeted out of my team, and I haven't decided who I'm going to bring in for him yet. I honestly, like, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll make up my mind closer to the time. But for now, Jackson stays. And then, yeah, that's my team. That is my team for game week 5. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we'll have a good game week. Hopefully Salah hauls and Haaland blanks. And then we'll see loads of green arrows. I'm still so annoyed, though. Like, look at all these red arrows for me. And I had a 75-point game week. 75-point game week. And I got all these red arrows. But yes, that's gonna be it for me, lads. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all coming into the chat and stuff. Box. But yeah, no, appreciate you all coming out. I'm hopefully gonna be able to do more of these live streams like once a week, maybe just like prior, like kind of like this stage of the week, like Thursday, Friday before the game week starts. Um, we've got like another international break coming up, like mid October, so we're gonna have a few weeks of like weekly content, and then we're gonna have another 2 weeks of like a break, and then after that, I'm pretty sure we're like flat out with FPL content right up until like March or what I think it's March. The next international break will be after October. So, yes, but make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And for the guys that come over from the Discord and stuff, thank you. Appreciate you coming over. I am going to put the Discord link in the chat if I can find it here quickly. Yep. Just for anybody who's in here who might want to join the Discord. The link is in the chat there. If you want to join, we've got like a really active community in there, so talking FPL and football all the time. They force so many international breaks on us this time. It's so annoying, Jack. There's no bigger buzzkill than the season starting. You get 4 weeks into the season, and then you get hit with an international break, slapped around the face with an international break, and it kills all your momentum. But yes, I'm gonna head, guys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, as I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel.